Right now, I'm obviously very much interested in the Epstein case. And so that's where I'm focusing my attention, the Epstein case.
What do you think that was? The Epstein case?
I would say Israel, obviously. And again, I'm so tired of us being gaslit. It's the dumbest gaslighting of all time. On record, okay, when Pam Bondi said, I can't even, this was just a moment where I was like, okay, like, F you, you guys hate us. Like, you have so much power. Why don't you just come out and say, nah, boo-boo, you can't touch us, F you. I would rather you do that, right?
Yes.
Than put on this pretense of a conference, and then you've got Trump over here being like, does anybody still care about Jeffrey Epstein? And then Pam Bondi is asked the question, was he working for another country? And she says, we don't know, right? You don't know? So in my series, I'm like, maybe we can help them. Maybe we can help the deep state figure out who Jeffrey Epstein was working for. Here is Ari Ben-Menashe, who was a Mossad agent, who is on record, literally recorded. Let's listen to him tell us about how Jeffrey Epstein was working for the Mossad. Okay, Ari Ben-Menashe worked for Mossad, and he's saying that Robert Maxwell brought him to Jeffrey Epstein and said, let this guy in. He's going to be involved in weapons. Hey, Pam Bondi, you might have missed this one. Okay, you might have missed this one. Then you go to another person who is on record, who is Viktor Ostrovsky, who defected from the Mossad notoriously. The Mossad admits he worked for the Mossad. He wrote a book, By Deception or By Deception Only. He says that's the Mossad motto, which they obviously do that. That's why they execute all these false flags. And he told everybody the truth. He has said Jeffrey Epstein was working with us. So for whatever reason, Candace Owens is able to determine whether or not Jeffrey Epstein might have been working for another state. But Pam Bondi, they're just going to have to keep surmising about whether or not Jeffrey Epstein, who with Ghislaine Maxwell, her father being Robert Maxwell, one of the biggest lies, by the way, that's told, and I debunked this in our first or our third Epstein episode, is the idea that, Robert Maxwell, they admit he was a Mossad agent, but Epstein didn't know him. The story they try to tell now and fashion to the public is like Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein met after her dad was dead. That's just false. Again, Ari Ben-Menashe tells the story of being brought into the office and being told that Epstein was going to be brought in. This was the Iran-Contra scandal. So since the 80s, Jeffrey Epstein has been working for Israel. I don't know how I know that, and Trump and Pam Bondi don't, but they got to bring me in. Like, I might have some evidence here, right? It's like, we're getting to a point now.
You're going to have tough confirmation hearings.
I just want them to say F you. Like, if seriously, that would feel better at this point if they just came out and said, F you, na boo boo, you can't touch us, we rule over you, ha ha. That would feel at least authentic. Going back to the Taylor Lorenz thing, I'd be like, I really don't like that, but at least it's authentic and I know you mean it and it's true.
All totally fair.
Yeah.
Does any of, to the extent that we can project forward and guess, does any of this come out? To a greater extent than it has? Is there ever like a public resolution of this story?
No, because Israel's controlling our government. So no, the answer is no. Trump is powerless against him. I don't think we've been a sovereign nation since they shot JFK. And when I say they, it's like people online say, what do you mean by they? I'm talking about Israel. I don't want you guys to read in between. I'm talking about Israel. So let's stop making that a taboo subject because they've gone mask down. Everything they're doing is demonic. I want nothing to do with it. I will never support Israel into the future after what they've done to these children. The starvation campaign. I don't care. Please write your article. You've already written them all. I don't know what you could add about me. But I do not support Israel. And I don't think that Jewish Americans should support Israel. And I hope that they're now having those conversations. I see many of them recognizing that they have been propagandized into believing they have to support this demonic state. And that's in large part thanks to their birthright trip. Yeah, that mask down moment for Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL when he got caught on the hot mic, it was released. He didn't know that he was being recorded. And he's like, saying that they've got to get TikTok under control. He's like, we have a generational issue with TikTok. We need to do something about this, like what we did with Birthright. What does that tell you? That the entire purpose of that Birthright trip, telling every Jewish American, you forget a free trip to Israel, was to propagandize you into believing that you have some affinity with this made-up country in the Middle East, like in 1948, that you have to, react when something's happening to them, or you have to look away when they're doing things that are so obviously wrong and demonic. And so I'm hoping now that we're getting to that point where people can recognize that whether you're Black, you don't have to agree with BLM. Whether you're Jew, allowing your identity to shape your morality is problematic, okay? And Israel in and of itself is a demonic nation. I will never support Israel, right? So I went from working for PragerU to I will never support Israel. So that's how much the scales have fallen from my eyes about what they are involved in. And if this isn't your wake-up call to just look at the footage of what they are doing, they're playing Hunger Games and like throwing food at them and then killing people and seeing who survives. It's just at your fingertips. You have to take a look at what Israel is doing.
So we want to brag, but this has got to be the most pro-dog podcast on the entire internet. They're almost always dogs, actually, just off camera. So dogs are non-negotiable. Dogs are the best, and people who love dogs really, really love them. We can relate. And so for that reason, we are thrilled to announce a new partner called Dutch Pet. It's the fastest growing telehealth service for your pets. It's on a mission to create affordable, quality veterinary care at any time, no matter where you are. They'll get your beloved pet what they need, and they do it at a high speed. And by the way, if you ever brought your dog to the vet, the dog doesn't like it. They can smell the darkness sometimes. It's true. Sometimes you have to go to the vet, but if you can avoid it, you should, and you want to. And Dutch.com has vets who can treat over 150 animal conditions with just 10 minutes on the phone. You never have to leave home. You never have to scare or upset your dog. No wasted time. You don't have to wait weeks for an in-office appointment. And you don't waste money. Unlimited visits and follow-ups for no extra cost. Free shipping on all products for up to 5 pets. Membership starts as little as $11 per month. And Dutch.com saves most customers nearly $1,000 a year. We use it. It's awesome as dog owners. It sounds too good to be true, probably, but it's absolutely real. Visit Dutch.com/Tucker to learn more. Use the code Tucker for up to $50 off your veterinary care plan per year. That's a year of unlimited vet visits for $82 a year. Your pets and your wallet will thank you. This is going to change the game, and we're proud to be partnered with them. Your point that if you allow your identity to determine your morality is a very deep and I think important point that I've never heard anybody put it that way. But it does feel like we're moving toward a world in which all ethics are situational, and it all depends on who I am and who my tribe is and what my identity is. And there isn't, to the extent there used to be, a sense of like universal standards that apply to everyone, otherwise known as principles. You clearly operate by those principles. What does that accelerate, or do we return to a moment where we can say, oh, no, there are universal standards of behavior. Truth is an unchanging thing. Whether we have it or not is debatable, but there is something called truth. There is an actual reality. Or does AI just make all of it like?
I think the people that we're fighting wish that AI could make everything. I am troubled by AI. I'm troubled by people believing that AI is smart. It's obviously dumb. It requires you not to read books and to believe that everything it spins out, which is really just, they're scraping the internet, right? That's all it's doing.
Derivative
which
of what
then
other
gives the
people
power
have
to the same people.
Yeah.
The New York Times. It's like they're just scraping the trusted sources and telling you this is a fact when it's not a fact. But I very much believe that something is happening globally right now, spiritually. I think me even surviving last year is proof of that. Obviously, if lies were winning,
and not just surviving. I should point out, since you're not a braggart, thriving in a way that like nobody would have predicted, as measured by your numbers on your podcast, as measured by your family output. Now you're the mother of 4. Like, I don't even know how you have a baby in the middle of all that, but you did. You're thriving, which is amazing. I never would have guessed that ever.
I hope that people take away from me living through it and surviving and coming out the other side is that it isn't worth your soul to tell a lie. Tell the truth, and that seems harder. That certainly in that moment of temptation feels harder when you're being promised the world. If you just don't say this thing, everything will stay the same. If you just pretend like you don't see what's happening in Gaza, you can have your life the way that you like it. That is, in my viewpoint, that is being tempted by Satan. That really is. And that is why they want you to be attached to money, right? That is why they don't even know how to try to destroy me outside of saying, we're going to financially crush you, right? We're going to keep you in lawsuits. We're going to sue you. I'm going to sue you for $8 billion because there's no truth in these people. Like money is the only motive. That's their only real power. And so I hope that when people, the millions of people that listen to my podcast every single day, that they get that there is something way bigger than that way higher authority to that. And when you commit yourself to truth, right? What is Jesus? Jesus is the way and the truth and the life, right? I think that once you get through that temptation, you are rewarded if you do the right thing, if you do the moral thing and you do the principled thing. You're being tested. We're all being tested right now. That's what I truly believe. We're all being tested. And a lot of people are failing that test. But a lot of people aren't, right? Strange bedfellows. You had Anna Kasparian on this show. And I've been saying for a while that I liked her because I perceived that she was being authentic, even when I disagreed with her.
Oh, she's authentic.
Yeah. I was like, I disagree with her. And she's been terrible to me, but I perceive that she's being authentic. And we're seeing that happen. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that the left and the right are coming together on this topic, and that it doesn't matter if you're black or you're white. And so in that way, yeah, Israel has been a blessing, because I think for the first time, the entire world is in lockstep, realizing something is very wrong, that this is allowed to happen in broad daylight and no one is stopping it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.